All right, how's everyone doing? This is episode 6 of the Homestead Shop Talk, and I'm here with Al from Lumnahacres, Ben from Hollar Homestead, and myself, Jason from Sow the Land. And just to let everyone else know that we are on iTunes, finally. It took a while, probably took like over a month to get there, it seemed like. But yeah, and if you're watching on iTunes, or sorry, if you're listening on iTunes, leave a review for our podcast and rate it. Hopefully 5 stars. And hopefully it's a positive one. But yeah, that would just help the podcast get up there, and so people could see it more and when they do searches and stuff. So that we would greatly appreciate whoever's listening on iTunes doing that. So thank you. But today we're going to be talking about our week, and we're going to talk a little bit about side hustles. Maybe some side hustles that we've done, or even side hustles that we think about. Al, what'd you do this week?
It's been a busy, productive week, I'll say that. So I'll start off with what we started with, and then we'll go into some of the newest stuff. So we finally got all the siding done on the house, which felt great, because it seems like 6 months that we've been working on that, since we had a lift, and then we had to return that lift because we couldn't get it out behind the house. We had to wait, I think, like 3 months to get another lift because they were all booked out. So we're able to get the new lift, get it all finished, which feels good because I don't have any more zip board siding showing. It's all covered up with the LP Smart siding. So that feels good. And then we butchered some more chickens.
Nice.
That was a long day. Yes.
How many? 70?
Took us about... No, it was 58. So we had gotten a bunch of rain at the beginning, so we had lost a bunch of them from the beginning, which luckily we lost them early, so they weren't very big. They were probably like in the first couple of days to 2 weeks, so we didn't have a bunch of feed into them, which is nice, because it's always a bummer when they're full grown when you lose them, because
Oh yeah,
I got a lot of money in that chicken at that point.
That's
I know.
One thing we did different this time is we got the milk cow, so any of the milk that we haven't been drinking, and it's not bad, but it's like, oh, this one's 5 days old, and we have fresh milk coming in. I was soaking their feed in the raw milk.
Yeah.
We didn't have the scale at our house, but they were 8 weeks old, like the same age as the other batch, and I'm going to say we had some that were at least 2 pounds bigger than the other biggest ones. They were like the size of basketballs.
Yeah.
Nice.
I was
I
happy
often
with
wondered
that.
about
So,
that.
if you guys got a milk cow,
Oh
yeah, you got a milk cow or any kind of dairy animal, soak the feed in the milk. Just gives them that much more protein. So
Yeah, I bet you
Nice.
that's gonna be some good chicken.
yeah, we're gonna have to do more of it next year. Do it right from the beginning, right when they're babies, and see how much. I wonder how much of a difference it'll make for starting them. Like if more of them will survive.
Right.
They're getting that good rub dairy.
Yeah.
Maybe for the turkeys. You
Yeah.
need a milk cow, Jason, so you can give it to the turkeys. Maybe you'll never lose a turkey again.
I know. Yeah, maybe that's the trick. Get a milk cow.
Right? Get a milk cow. You never know. It could be.
Was it just you guys who butchered? Or did you have new people? New people come down.
It was just me and Gina this time. That was a
Yeah.
good full day. I think it was like 4 o'clock by the time we got all done picking up. I think I went outside and started about 5 a.m. So I was getting ready to get everything all set up. I was getting the plucker, the scalder full, getting ready to put hot water in the scalder. And I was right where we were last time underneath my solar panel array. And I got stung by a hornet at 5 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, these guys should be sleeping.
Yeah.
But so I ended up having to move the area we were working in. So I was like, you know what? I'm not working around hornets all morning long.
No. Right off the bat too.
But I'm glad I got stung before I was all set up. So at least that way I can move everything. Because it wouldn't have been fun if I was fighting hornets in the middle of trying to take care of some chickens.
Yeah.
Must just be the weather for it. I just got stung by a hornet 2 days ago.
Well,
You know,
they hurt.
Yeah, they do.
you guys have Japanese
That's for
hornets?
sure. Nope. Not that I know of. Never heard of one.
About that big.
I
They're
have.
huge.
You
They're
guys
like
have them?
If you look it up online, apparently they just barely found them. Like that was a couple years ago.
Wow.
But
Have you ever heard of an Asian jumping worm?
mm-mm.
I guess they're an invasive species that's here in the U.S. all of a sudden too. I just saw somebody post something on Facebook that they had gotten compost from somewhere, and they had Asian jumping worms in the compost.
Wow.
And they're like a super invasive worm.
Goody.
No. No, there's a bunch of Japanese hornets in the base of one of our. We have a big tree out in the field, and they eat the sap, and so they hang out
Okay.
in the base of it, and so they can kill honeybees too. And we have our bees,
Oh wow.
and like they'll like destroy them. No, they basically eat them. And so I'm trying to figure out how to get rid of them, but it's a lost cause, I think. You know, it's not a
We
nest.
had
What do
those
they get?
Japanese hornets last summer. They set up shop down in our farmhouse in the wall, and I think I sprayed 4 whole cans of spray into that hole trying to take them out, and I could not take them out. The only thing that finally got them was when it got cold, they all died. So yeah,
Yeah,
maybe fire.
That is one thing about the hornets. Yeah, they will die in the winter, but in the meantime,
Yep.
we got bees out there. You know,
Right.
I don't know. I saw some things online that you could do, but I might try. But yeah, I know I sprayed them too, but I must have unloaded the whole, like 2 whole cans on them.
I don't have any sympathy for hornets or wasps. They hurt and they don't really do much good. So today we started our shop build, which feels good to have that going. I'm hoping in 2 weeks ish we'll have it all up and sided, and that we can start on the interior work.
Wow! And you're working on it every single day, like if it's good weather.
Yeah, so probably even in the rain. So I have Ken's from Ken's Carpentry. He's got a YouTube channel. Him and his
Right.
crew are coming out. We'll be building the exterior with him and his guys. So today we got all the posts. So we're doing post and beam with roof trusses. We got all the posts cut and notched, and then we got the post and everything put up with the upper headers in. So tomorrow, hopefully, we'll start siding or getting the tin up. We'll start strapping the walls and
Wow,
getting a few pieces of tin, I'm hoping. So
that's cool, man.
that'd be
That's
nice
exciting.
to have a bigger workshop. Yeah.
Nice.
So we just announced that we're starting, and we just redid our website, and we're gonna be starting an online store. So we're gonna be redoing our merch. So we did a bunch of logos, but the big thing is we're starting our own coffee brand. We're starting working with a local coffee roaster. So that will be launching August 8th.
Cool.
Is when we're gonna open the website to start taking orders. So Gina and Olivia just put out in the mail some packages for you guys today. So you're gonna get your coffee showing up hopefully in a few more days.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hoping you guys like it.
Yeah.
That'd
we
be
got-
cool.
We're doing regular coffee, so like a hot coffee, and then we're doing a cold brew, and then we have a decaf.
Wow.
So
So is it
yeah, we
Lumnah
work-
Acres Coffee? Is that what it's called?
Yep, it's Lumnah Acres Coffee. So we got the new logos there,
Wow, logo and everything. Look at that.
Nice.
That's cool.
logo and
Nice.
everything. Yeah, and then we have a local lady that has a coffee company that does the roasting. So we've been working with her to come up with the different roasts. Took us a few months trying different coffees to get the roast that we liked, and then we went with organic. But unfortunately, we can't call it organic because the expense of it. She can't afford to,
Right.
or doesn't. It's really
label.
expensive for her to get her coffee roast certified and
Yeah.
right to pay for the label. So the
Yeah.
beans the beans are organic that we're buying, but you can't say we can't put on the label organic just because of that.
Yeah.
So, and the decaf coffee's organic, and then it's water processed to get the caffeine out instead of like a chemical process.
Is it medium roast, dark roast?
They're more of a medium light roast.
Yeah.
That we're going with. So
It's going to be very caffeinated.
Cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
You guys
trying.
Cool. Hopefully you like coffee. No, I do.
Oh, I do.
That is my second favorite liquid besides water.
Right. Luckily, it's got a lot of water in it.
Water's my second favorite liquid.
Right. That's what I would say. I would say I drink water because I need to, but I like the coffee better.
Yeah. That's great. Yeah. That's fun, man.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about doing coffee for a while, but like all like the stuff I could find to like resell was nothing great. So it's kind of like been in the back of my head. And I stumbled across this roaster probably 6 months ago, and I'm like, man, I really like this coffee. I'd like to do something. And then we went to a tractor show in Maine, and I'm gonna say we probably met 300 to 500 viewers, and every viewer was like, hey, I wake up in the morning, I put your show on, and I drink a cup of coffee. So we were like, yeah, we need to try this.
There you go.
That's what inspired it is the viewers. So I'm hoping that they all like it.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was thinking about is, all of us share. I think all of us do one of this for the reasons is for food, growing food, and you get to like show it on the video, but you don't get to like share it with your viewers. You can't sell it. So I think with the coffee, it's kind of nice. It's like, oh, this is something you can sell. Like I enjoy this. This is good, delicious. This isn't like Folgers. So it's kind of nice to be able to share with your viewers something that they can actually try that you're using.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a great idea. Yeah. No, I agree with you there. I mean, it's hard to get into the food business and start shipping food out, and then, and do you really want to be shipping food out?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a whole other thing. So that's tough.
Right. I can just imagine.
To figure out,
I know I've been watching Ben making all this, making everything in the kitchen and making all this delicious pie fillings and making me hungry, but he can't sell that on the internet.
I know.
Yeah,
making me hungry.
The struggle is real. Yeah, I guess I'll just jump into my week. It's been a lot of kitchen time. If we can't grow the foods we like to eat, then we're just going to buy them somewhere. And so we use Azure Standard. They're a organic kind of like bulk food place. You can put in orders and you can order stuff in bulk. Well, we can get organic cherries from them, and so this last month's order, we ordered a whole bunch of these organic cherries, and they all came in. It all comes in at once. They're only picking cherries for a couple weeks, and so we got our order for the year, and it's all about preserving them. So we've been canning, we've made jams, we've made pie filling, and it's a push, especially pitting, thousands of cherries like that. But it is so worth it. Like in the dead of winter, and you crack open that jar of cherries, make either a cobbler or a pie or something like that. Oh, it's so worth it. So yeah, that's been a lot of my my past week has been just preserving. We actually, same time we got all these cherries, we got a couple boxes of peaches. Anybody who hasn't been up on things, the southern peach harvest this year really took a big hit because of late frosts, and I believe it was South Carolina and Georgia, which are the main peach producers in the South, had something like it was like 85% loss on the peach crop for the year. So finding peaches has been kind of a struggle. The places we usually get peaches from, we haven't been able to get them. And we have a connection at the grocery store, and so she was able to order us a couple boxes of peaches. And we ended up eating almost every single one of those. We didn't can a single one of those, but I'm sure we'll figure out something else.
That's tough, yeah.
So yeah, it's been a whole week of just every day in the kitchen. You know, I can't really handle the heat too well. I've had heat exhaustion real bad back when I was in California, and you know, after a certain time of day, I have to go inside, otherwise I start getting sick. So it works out for me. I get to hang out inside in the AC. I'm doing something. It works out real good. I enjoy it. Plus, you know, it's putting away food for wintertime. That's also a big perk. You know, and you're eating the whole time. You're, you know, pit 5 of them, eat one of them. So, yeah, that's pretty much my week. Not a whole lot of interesting stuff. Oh yeah, I did chime in. I did chime in about getting stung by a hornet. I have shock wire around the inside of my pig pen, and every now and then there's a spot where the dirt gets pretty close on the uphill side to the fence. And after a rain, I don't know why, but slugs like to slime out of that dirt hill, and they like to cross that shock wire, and they get zapped, and it kills them. Well, probably about once a week I have to go out there with a stick and clean off a pile of these. I mean, they're great big giant, like 4-inch long slugs. I've never seen slugs this big. And I have to clean them off the shock wire because it's just shocking. There's just this big lightning bolt of shock as that fence is clicking. Well, I was out there a couple days ago doing it, cleaning off a slug, and I noticed there's all sorts of dead bugs right around these slugs, and I was trying to figure out what the heck was going on, and all of a sudden I got hit in the arm, and I realized there was a hornet's nest. Those ground hornets, they're the reason those slugs keep coming around, because whatever they're leaving, dead carcasses or waste or whatever, the slugs are attracted to that, and those stupid hornets are living in the hill that I usually stand on when I'm, you know, giving the pigs their feed. But yeah, one came out and got me in the arm. My arm swelled up great big. It's like, okay, well, I don't know how I'm going to get in there. I can't spray because that's in the pig pen. I don't want the pigs getting poisoned. So maybe I'll put on Meg's bee suit and I'll go down there with the weed burner and I'll just torch them.
Said, how many peaches a year do they normally put up?
Oh.
Where this year you said you ate 2 cases, right?
Well, you got to remember, you know, we're a family of 7. That sounds weird to say. I don't think that'll ever stop sounding weird. Usually, okay, so we get, the place we usually get them from, we buy them by I think it's a half bushel basket. It's the big long basket. We usually get 2 of those a week usually from about like the middle of July until we're sick of them, which usually we eat peaches all the way up until the end of peach season, which peach season is Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's the time.
Oh, wow.
I would say during the season, we probably buy like 12 or 14 of those baskets. So it's a couple bushels, yeah. And we'll usually eat about half of that, and then the rest we preserve. We either make jams or we just can, like we cut them in half, skin them, and we'll just can half peaches. Those are good too. So yeah, something like that, 14 half bushels.
Nice. I don't think a lot of people think about like how much food they actually go through. Like we'll be like, oh, we raised 100 meat birds this year. Like, for what? I'm like,
to eat?
Because we eat 2 chickens a week. Like, you know, but I think like a lot of people don't really sit down and figure out like how much food they consume or what it would take or what they would need to raise, because they just go to the grocery store once a week and buy 1 or 2 packages of meat or whatever. That's why I was just curious on the peaches how much you do.
I mean, even for a small family, you know.
I don't know the exact number of jars. I would have to ask Meg. She's got her spreadsheets, so I'm sure she could tell you an exact number of jars. But It's a grip of them. We've got jars literally everywhere. Don't come in the house and kick a ball in any direction because you'll hit jars.
Right.
I know, we need to get the root cellar going, Ben.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I'm just trying. I'm the same. I'm trying not to go outside too much. I'm trying to do everything in the morning, and then everything, after 6 o'clock in the evening. But I put out a video. One of the videos I put out this week. I think it was me clearing the barn. One of our barns, we were clearing around it, and then the last half of the video, I was putting my heritage turkeys out in netting, chicken netting. I was letting them out of the coop. First time doing that, and on the video, I was like, yeah, they'll stay in here. They'll go back to their house, and at night, I can see where this is going. And
been there, done that.
I was saying that all through the video, and I was like, yeah, they know where they've been in that coop for like 2 weeks, so I was feeling bad for them because it's kind of a smaller coop, and that's all I have right now available. So I was like, I'm gonna let them out and let them roam around the netting. They'll stay. They know where home's at. So that night, I already done the video, right? Like I already filmed that. I'm not filming at night. So that night, right before it got dark, I was like, okay, I'm gonna put them back. I go out there and they're all out. They're all out of the netting, and they're still kind of little turkeys. So first of all, they're really fast, and they just go right through the netting squares. Like the charge on the netting doesn't even phase them, because I think they probably have so many feathers that they just go right through the netting, like nothing. So I was like, I'm never gonna get these back. Like it was just like Lorraine, the girls had went to her parents' house for the night to hang out over there, and so I was by myself. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I have all these 6 turkeys out, and so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. I'm gonna let it get like fully dark, and maybe that'll calm them down and it'll be easier to get. So it was like 10 o'clock at night. I go back out there, and I thought for sure they'd be roosting on the coop. They'd come back and they'd roost on the coop, like chickens. That's what chickens would do. And so I go out there and they were not there. They were nowhere to be found. And I was like, where did they go? And so I kind of looked around, and they were like just huddled, like all spread out, huddled like in the grass, like on various spots. And I was like, man. So like I snuck up on a couple, grabbed them. I was able to grab a couple, put them in the coop. This is like 10 at night. Then it became 11 at night. And I was chasing all these turkeys with my flashlight, and I finally got them in after like an hour. I finally got them in, but then after that I was like, okay, you have lost your privileges. No more. So now I'm gonna wait, I think, till they get a little bit older, or till when I have my bigger chicken coops available, because we're gonna be butchering our meat chickens pretty soon. So after we do that, I'm going to put them in the bigger coop, because that coop is getting a little bit smaller, but I cannot let them out anymore because they just run away from me. They're running away from me. So anyways, that's what happened there that night. And then all this week, my mini truck broke. I believe it's a blown head gasket. So some of the people who are watching the videos, I'm sure they noticed that there was just white smoke everywhere. Every time I was driving around, just white smoke coming from the exhaust. And I called the mechanic, and he said it's a blown head gasket, so I got to take it there. So all this week I haven't been using it because I'm afraid that making it worse. So I'm back to doing all the chores with my 2 legs. And it's amazing. I only had that truck for four months, but it's amazing like how used to it you get, because you're like, how did I do chores without it? How did I do chores? Like I was so used to hopping into it, filling up the water buckets and going up. And now that we haven't had doing it, man, it's a chore. So I'm hoping I can get that truck back quick. But man, it's like you need two of those. You know, you need two vehicles in case one of them breaks down. But like,
Yeah, no kidding.
what if I had larger animals? It would be worse. Yeah. So,
Yep.
so I'm kind of waiting on to take that, and then by the time this podcast is out, I did a podcast last month, another podcast, the Thriving Farmer podcast, with Michael Kirkpatrick. He's been around forever, as far as I remember. He just talks to different farmers. So I was on his podcast, and that podcast is out now, so people can look that up. And what else? Oh, finally got a 1,000-gallon water tank that was delivered. So I have that, and it's not as big as you would think, like what 1,000 gallons is. I was curious to see. I mean, I knew how the measurements, but like just to look at it in person is different, and you're not sure like how heavy it is, you know, how big it is, but it's really not that big. It's about as tall as me, a little bit taller than me, but it's only 160 pounds, so it's not terrible. Like I could move it around.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not picking it up or nothing, but I could move it, like shimmy it where I need it, and it's not bad. So yeah, and then I have to move it on top of our property, and I wish I could do it with my mini truck, but
I was gonna say without the mini trip too.
I know I'm gonna have to just use my truck, my Toyota. It would be a funner, better video if I could use my mini truck, you know. But yeah, I'm not going to use my mini truck because I'm afraid of making it worse. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, next with that is I got to build something to save the water into that big old tank. So that's what I'm planning now.
You build a cow barn. You can build a cow barn out on top, so you can get a milk cow. Then you can collect all the rain off of that roof.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
all coming together. It's all coming together.
It's all coming together. Yep.
Watch, I'm gonna get a phone call, and someone's gonna say, "Hey, I have a milk cow. Do you want him?" You know.
Yep.
So-
So
Starts.
your next chicken butchering, are you doing a class,
Yes.
Jason?
Yep.
Yes.
We're doing
Cool.
two classes back to back.
Is this your last batch for the season?
Yes. This is the last two classes for this season. Yeah. Yep.
You
That's
got any
it.
tickets left?
No, we're all sold out.
Sold out. Wow, awesome.
We usually sell out within the first week of announcing it.
Nice.
Nice.
And yeah, we have people from all over that come. I would say on average, they're at least 4 hours away.
Wow.
I mean, we've had people from Minnesota come, Pennsylvania, Utah, California. I mean, they fly. They come in and fly in, and
Yep.
just stay the weekend, you know, somewhere around here, which is cool. Like that amazes me every time. I'm like, you know, it's like I would not ever think that. I would just think like maybe it's some local people that live nearby, but man, they're from all over. Like it doesn't matter, which is pretty cool.
How many people per class?
We do at the most 10,
It's a good amount.
and then they'll butcher at least 2 chickens per person. So we don't do 50 birds. We don't do 70. You know, we'll maybe do like 40, or maybe not 40, maybe 20, 25.
Okay.
So we're not doing a ton all at once. We're spreading it out, which I think is good. It makes it more more easygoing day, you know. Like we're done by like noon.
Yep.
It just makes it more fun for everybody, you know.
Right.
So yeah,
You want to make it an enjoyable experience.
Yeah, it's enjoyable because I mean, people buy tickets and they're like, you figure like they'll come with their spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, and then like they're like making it a weekend, a getaway, you know, which is cool. So yeah, you kind of want to make it kind of enjoyable. It's butchering chickens, so
Yeah,
I'm not going to make
say
it do
nothing
100.
sounds like a romantic time. Like, let's go butcher chickens.
I mean, I remember the first workshop we took, chicken butchering workshop. It was for Valentine's Day. Lorraine bought it for us for Valentine's Day. That's how the farm was promoting it. Like, buy your Valentine a workshop.
Was this in California or when you were in the Carolinas?
No, it was in California.
California.
Yeah, it was at Primal Pastures.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that, you know, I mean, people make it a weekend. Like, go learn something. I think that's it. We could talk about a little bit about today's topic, which is side hustles. So I guess maybe we could talk about side hustles that we've had through, you know, helping us live this lifestyle, or maybe side hustles that give people ideas that are listening to this podcast. Maybe they're looking for a side hustle to help them live this lifestyle. Me coming from a 9-to-5 job, and I'm not used to a side hustle, you know, like that's all I did was a 9-to-5 job. You know, it wasn't like, which I never thought of to do, really. It never came to mind because the work was enough, you know, so it's not like we needed the money, you know, so it was, so that was kind of hard for me to wrap my mind around, like doing different things to make the income, you know. I didn't know what that looked like. And I guess you have to be confident in yourself to do a side hustle, you know. I mean, it's just hard to think about what that side hustle could be. I mean, if you're not used to that.
I think for us, one of the hard parts is the confidence, and then you're spending money at the same time to try to see if you can make money. So I think I forget where I heard it or read it, but one of the things that the way I like looking at it now is I'm investing in myself. Yeah, you're taking a chance, but you're investing in yourself. I don't know. For us, I feel like we found that investing in ourselves has been the best investment. Like, I can bet on myself, and I know not what I can do, but I know my value and how hard I'll work. Where if I invest in the stock market, I don't know you know what you're investing in, but you don't know if it's going to do good or bad. So if you invest in yourself in different ways, side hustles or whatever, that, you know, it always has paid off for us in the long run, and then you learn a lot over time.
I mean, what would you consider a side hustle?
I think the big one for us when we first started was doing eBay. We started doing eBay at one point to save up to get out of the suburban area. That's where we started, and then I would fix up used cars, buy a used car, fix that up, and then sell it. But whenever I was doing a side hustle, I always wanted to feel good about it. I didn't want to be trying to be like a sleazy snake salesman. Like, I'd want to, if I was buying a used car, I'd buy a used car, but I'd go through it. If I do the brakes, if the brakes were half worn out, I'd still do the brakes. I'd look it over. I would, go through anything. I wanted to feel good about selling this used car, not being like, oh yeah, I just took this person through the ringer and made a bunch of money. It's like, no, I want to be able to sleep good at night and help somebody at the same time. Like, that's kind of always been the way I try to do it, I guess, is if you're going to do a side hustle, like, take pride in it.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I think it was used cars, eBay, used cars. I know before, when we lived up here, before we did YouTube, when we lived up in northern New Hampshire at first, I always wanted a side hustle, but where we were, it was remote, and it was kind of like there's not enough people around here to do a side hustle. And then we didn't have internet when we first lived up here. There was no internet, so it wasn't like you could just go online or do eBay or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think the internet has changed it a ton. No matter where you live, you can have a side hustle.
Yeah. No, it makes it, I think, 10 times easier to have a side hustle with that way the internet is. And they have all these apps you can sell on, Facebook Marketplace.
Right.
You know, if you don't want to do eBay.
You can do DoorDash.
Yeah, exactly. Uber, you know, like.
Yeah.
I mean.
We had a friend, I don't know what app she did, but she would be basically somebody's personal shopper. She would take their shopping list that they would send through online somehow, and they'd pay her so much, and then she'd get there and she'd make some pretty good tip money. So it's just kind of stuff you'd never think about.
I guess I could take that back. Like, when we were in California before we moved, like, this was, you know, even just out of high school, like, both me and Lorraine, we collect a lot of vintage furniture. And, like, we'd always go antique shopping. And, I mean, we would just buy stuff just to buy it if it was a good deal. We didn't need another couch, but we would buy it. And so eventually, you know, you have a house full of just stuff. I mean, it's cool stuff and you get a good deal. So then we would either take it to another vintage store and sell it, like resell it to them so that way they can sell it, or eBay. Right. eBay was huge. I think that was kind of early on eBay, where you could, it wasn't bombarded with a bunch of that kind of stuff, so people were looking for that stuff. And being, you know, in Los Angeles area, like, it would just be local pickup, you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to ship anything. Yep. So that helps a lot, because, you know, you don't want to deal with shipping sometimes, and that can be hard. So yeah, I guess early on, even after we moved out in North Carolina, like, I did a little bit of that. Like, we would go to yard sales early on. I remember one time we went to a church yard sale, and sometimes, a lot of times, those are the best yard sales to go, because they're really cheap. And we went to one, and I bought a ship in a bottle. Right, it was this little clear bottle, and had a ship in there, like someone had done. It looked like someone had made it, and they sold it for me for like 10 cents. And I was like, I want to sell this on eBay. I'm gonna see how much I can get for it on eBay, you know. And I did. I went home and I just threw it on eBay, and I ended up getting $75 for it. And I was like, see, you know, we could do that. We could do this, you know. So, I mean, that's a side hustle, you know. Just hit the yard sales.
I used to find you could go to a yard sale, and you could pick up brand new ink cartridges for printers that were expired. You'd buy them for like 25 cents, 50 cents, and you'd go on eBay and you'd put on them expired, and you'd put the date, and you would sell them for 15, 20 bucks. People on eBay searched out expired printer ink for some reason. Kind of weird. Yeah.
That's funny.
We had thrift stores where we used to live. You'd go and buy, you'd search through the t-shirt. You could buy a t-shirt for $1 or $2, and you'd sell them on eBay for 20 bucks.
Yeah.
Just the vintage.
Yep.
For sure people were looking for.
Did you do any side hustles, Ben, like early on when you guys moved out here?
So not really since we've been out here. My side hustles were always, I either made things and sold things, or I did odd jobs. I used to do a lot of freelance, odd machine shop type stuff. I had my own little machine shop in my garage, and so I would do that kind of stuff for extra money. At one point, it was early on in our marriage, I used to do wrought iron, and so I would build wrought iron gates and fences and stuff like that. That was a cool side gig. And then, let's see, what else? Really, I think welding has been one of those things that it has served me well as a side skill. There's always someone needing something welded. There's always something that needs to be built out of metal that a lot of people just can't do. A lot of people don't have that skill set. Now, it is one of those things, if you want to learn, Learn to weld. It is so easy to learn how to weld, but I guess a lot of people are intimidated by it. But yeah, that's been a good one for me. Even still, I'm still having people ask me to weld stuff for them. And, sometimes it's big projects. Sometimes it's like, can you fix my favorite, rake or whatever? And yeah, that one's served me pretty good. Just the whole welding thing. Now, a side hustle that honestly I kind of wish I had pursued a little bit more was when I was doing the knife making thing. I really, really enjoyed the knife making. It's metalworking. There's fire. And then there's art to it. Once you're done, it's not just a knife, it's functional art. It's such a beautiful piece when you're done. I really enjoyed that stuff, which I still make knives from time to time, but not like I used to. And honestly, this is one that I think all of us can agree on. YouTube started out as a side hustle. YouTube was not.
Oh yeah.
For a couple years, YouTube was just a side hustle. It was a fun thing to do. We didn't make any money for a long time, and then once we finally started making money, it was no longer the side hustle. That became our main thing. So I don't know if anybody's thinking about starting a YouTube channel. If you want a lot of hard work with no pay for a couple of years, maybe think about a YouTube.
Right.
For sure.
It does. It takes a few years.
Yeah.
But it's worth it in the long run. You just got to stick with it, I think, like anything else.
Yeah.
Yep.
You could be careful because your side hustle might end up being your number one thing.
One of the things I think is important to realize is it doesn't hurt to have a side hustle, and it doesn't hurt to have multiple side hustles. It's the whole kind of the situation we realize we're in is don't have all your eggs in one basket, because if you have multiple income streams, if any one of them fails, you're not up a creek without a paddle. So I think that's where side hustles are definitely important.
I got a question for both of you about side hustles. With your homestead, I know one of the things I always keep in the back of my mind, right now we grow just our own food. It's more for, we want to eat our own food, but we don't grow it to sell it because it's, I want to say lucrative, but it's more of a pain right now to get into it. But I'm always keeping in the back of my mind, I want to build up my pastures. I want to build up my knowledge, because I think there's going to be a shift. There already is a shift, but I think there's going to be more of a shift with people looking for real, wholesome food. And there's going to be a place where it needs to come from. So when that happens, when that shift happens, I want to be ready, whether it's the land or the animals, to just be okay, yep, we can implement this and we can start growing more food. I don't know, do you guys ever think about that? For me, that's kind of more of okay, yep, we're putting a lot of stuff into our property and our fields, but it's an investment for the future, whether it's for us or our daughter or, I don't know. It's one thing
every day. Every day. Me and Meg were having this conversation over some onions that we were preserving, talking about our systems, talking about how there's a lot of room for improvement with stuff. We need a cold room, but at the same time, we don't want to stop growing stuff because we aren't able to just stick stuff in a cold room to preserve it longer. Really where we're at is we would like to continue learning how to grow food, all of it, meat, vegetables, fruit, all of this stuff. We want to get so good at doing this to where if there comes a time when there's a need, as Meg says, maybe I can't say it how Meg says.
Say darned.
I'll be darned if anybody comes to my house hungry. That's kind of our feelings. Is we would like to be in a position to where if someone ever was in a position where they came to us hungry for whatever reason, we want to be able to be in a position to feed them. There's a lot of people out there that I know that have the idea of it's all mine. I'm going to take care of me and mine and, forget everybody else. Well, kind of the way we feel about it is, why don't we learn how to do this to where we've got enough to share if we had to.
I think the good part about that too is now you can share, even though people don't need it, but you can kind of like tease them, be like, this is what real food is supposed to taste like. Have a chicken or have an, you know what I mean? Like then they're kind of ruined at that point. Like, oh man, like we did that. Our friend was doing a cookout, and he was like, we're doing a cookout. I think it was 4th of July or something. I'm like, oh, he's really good chef. And I'm like, well, what are you cooking? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, I got like 5 chickens I'll donate to the cause, to kind of like get everybody to have some good real food.
Oh yeah, I think about that. I think eventually I'm gonna sell some food. I'm gonna like farm products. And I go back and forth of what that would be. I mean, I think it would be probably chicken. Selling whole chickens from the farm, but it's easier right now. It's easier for me to sell a workshop than it is to sell one chicken. It's more worth it for me.
Right.
So that's hard, but like, why not? Why can't we do both? Do the workshops and do sell meat. That is a possibility.
Right.
And I think eventually we probably will. I mean, I would love to get a greenhouse going and maybe doing plant starts. I think about doing something like that. I mean, yeah, it's not like,
that's something I'm looking into getting
super
into.
lucrative. Yeah. It's not like you're making a ton of money, but like it's something. It's just a little bit of extra income just to do it. And then plus, people come over. That's another thing. Do you want people over your house? But people come over and you get to meet new people in the community that are over here. That's cool too.
Yeah.
Like we enjoy that.
As a side hustle, I've always wondered: is selling plant starts more? Would you make more doing selling plant starts than you would vegetables? I've kind of always felt like you would, but I've never attempted. It seems like they get quite a bit of good money for plant starts, and you have a seed and a little bit of soil.
It seemed like it would be easier.
One of the side hustles I would like to get into is actually selling bare root trees. There's a lot of money to be made selling fodder trees. So, oak trees, nut trees, stuff like that. There's a few people that I follow that they'll go plant, say, chestnut trees. They'll plant, several thousand chestnut trees, and then the following year they'll sell them as just seedlings. And they'll just bare root them, sell them in the winter. And they'll sell them for, $8, $10, $12 a tree times 1,000. You can make a lot of money real quick just for so I've been this past year experimenting with saving seeds from the peaches and the cherries and all these various things that we have. And right now I've got a 60, 70 peach trees out here that I'm either going to graft or start giving away or something like that. Honestly, because they've gotten too big. Jason, you're probably going to get a peach tree next time I see you too. So, fair warning.
That's fine. That's okay.
But it's one of those things. I wanted to see what it looked like. How easy is it to just throw some seeds in the dirt and then get everything either potted up or ready to go bare root? It's pretty stinking easy. So, this is a venture that I haven't really talked about, and I guess I'm talking about it now. This is a direction for making money that I'm currently getting into. I'm dipping my toes into right now, and it looks like it's going to be honestly a pretty fun way to make money. You're just planting stuff and selling plants.
I guess a question to go on top of that, Ben, have you ever thought about when you're doing that, like raise some or grow some like bigger ones? That I'm betting there's gonna be more and more people that get into homesteading that are gonna want to start off quicker, or then I got to, you know what I mean? So they're gonna be like, I want
Yep.
like a 5-year-old tree that's established, you know, and you'd be able to probably make more money off of that one. But you'd have to, I guess, you'd have to figure out that system of how to, I guess, get a tree spade or whatever for a back of a tractor, maybe, or if you just start them in pots and just keep potting them up, or I wonder how that.
It would depend. There's a lot of species that, you know, like they get really deep tap roots, and so if you grow them in a pot, then they're gonna kind of be stunted, or, you know, if you dig them up, you risk injuring them. So that's all stuff I'm currently in the middle of learning. But yeah, I know what you mean. Trying to find chestnut trees has been a struggle. You know, I think I've planted probably 25 of them on our property this past year, because I finally found places that had them. You know, they show up, and you can tell the little seedling was grown in a red Solo cup, just by the shape of the roots. But they're just doing what I'm getting ready to do. Well, some of these trees, you know, they say it's a one-year-old tree. For, I think I paid $9 for some of my chestnut trees. They have 2-year trees for like $30. 4-year trees were like $60. I mean, they just increase exponentially year to year. And if you think about it, if you don't sell a tree this year, next year you get to basically double what you're selling it for, because now it's a 2-year-old tree. So it appeals to me. I know that my obsession with trees is sometimes I feel like it's an unhealthy addiction, but looking at it as I can grow trees and I could possibly make money doing this, why not?
A win-win.
Like we bought our blueberry bush and we got those shipped in. I think those were probably $20 a bush, and I think those were a couple of years old, so I'm sure that's something else you can kind of. And those were shipped. I'm trying to think where they came from. Those got shipped in from some nursery that was growing them.
I think it'd be neat if you had the space to do some kind of like you pick berries or you pick apples or something like that, where you just plant them and then people just come and pick them, and you could charge by the pound or whatever. I know a couple people that's what they started, and that's what they do. They don't really have to do anything, you know, after, you know, once it's grown and it's producing, and then people just come and pick it. I think that's neat when you don't have to like do much.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. Well, I know that after planting 70 blueberry plants last year, in a few years we're going to have to do a U-pick, because we're going to be overwhelmed with blueberries.
How'd they all take?
I think we only lost like 4 or 5 of them, but we harvested fruit off of every single one of them. Yeah, it wasn't a huge harvest this year, but I figure next year will be a pretty good harvest. This year we had enough.
Yeah, 'cause you just planted them last year, right?
Yeah, they've only been in the ground a year, so getting to eat anything off of them was kind of cool. It's like, man, we just planted these last summer and we're like already eating blueberries off of them, so that was pretty cool.
Now, what gave you the idea, Jason, to do the side hustle of teaching the classes? Viewers reach out to you saying like, hey, I want to learn this, and
It wasn't when it started. It wasn't so much the viewers. I don't think they were really asking those questions, but it was more of the local community was reaching out to us, like people that we would meet, and they would know that we raise chickens, and they would ask us like, hey, next time you do it, can I just come and help you, or can I just come and watch, you know? And so every single time we did it, like the first like few years, we always meet somebody new, and we'd be like, hey, let's call so and so, like they might, you know, find this interesting, you know. Plus we needed the help. And or, you know, it's just more funner when there's a bunch of people, you know, then it's just us just doing it over and over again, you know. It's just more funner when you have other people there. And so just to invite people, and so yeah, I mean, it was just meeting people in the local community, and they asking us, and we're like, yeah, sure, like yeah, we could, if you want to learn how to do this, yeah, come by. And so after a few years of doing that, then it was like, I wonder if we should like try to, charge and maybe open it up to other people, even in the YouTube community or the online community. So that took a little bit of, opening our home to strangers online. Like that's
right. You're selling it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
You're
different.
selling a ticket to somebody you have no idea.
Right. Before it was people in the local community, so they were pretty much our neighbors, people that are in town. But now we don't know these people at all. But that's when we decided, hey, let's just try it. And it's been good, 100%. Like everyone that we've taught, it's been a good experience, and everyone's super cool and kind and nice, and like, we've kept friends with people that we've met, and it's been a really good experience to do that.
I was gonna ask Ben, how many pig classes have you guys done? You've done a few at your place.
Yeah, we've done a few. Me and Meg actually taught one with our friend Billy this spring. We did it in March, and that was cool. That was really fun. And then we've had Hand Hewn Farm out here twice to our place, and I want to say both years we had them out. Everybody who signed up for our class, we had met before. I believe it was all through like Homesteaders of America. We'd met them in person. Meeting someone at Homesteaders, I think we talked to everybody there at least once, and so that's kind of a lot of people. And then as soon as they show up here, it's like, I recognize your face, like I remember you. So that's been kind of cool. The class we taught this spring, there's a lot of people I hadn't met before, but just like Jason said, we've actually like developed relationships with some of these people, and it's been really cool. And I think what's cool is when they leave the class that you taught and they go home and they do it with their animals. That's something that's really cool. So yeah, we are, us as well, we'll be doing more classes, but we're still just getting started with the classes thing. Jason's kind of like he's a pro now. He's been doing it so long.
Are you and Meg going to be teaching the pig classes yourself? Are you going to have Hand Hewn Farm come, or for your house?
So that's kind of a hard question, because we really enjoy the Hand Hewn guys. They have a love for food like we do. Right. They're kind of they feed our food nerd. But
yep.
What we want out of a class, we had a lot of fun teaching class. Like we really, really had a lot of fun. If we do any more classes here, it's kind of a 50-50. We might do Hand Hewn for one of them, and then I'm going to teach the rest. The thing with Hand Hewn is it's a 3-day workshop. That's a long weekend. Whereas if I teach it, it's probably only going to be like 2 days, or maybe 1 day. So it just depends. Probably, yeah, I will be teaching more classes. I think I'm doing like 6 pigs this winter. As soon as it gets cold, I'm starting to do pigs, and a way to recoup some of the money in feed is we could do some classes. So yeah, there's probably going to be some classes. I'm probably going to get a whole bunch of emails going, sign me up. It's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have mentioned that just yet.
Right. Now, what kind of pigs this fall? Are they your heritage breeds, or are they the feeder pigs?
Yeah, it's going to be a couple American guinea hogs. Honestly, I'm going to have 4 American guinea hogs ready this fall. And then these 3 feeder pigs. They're a mix of heritage breeds. Old Spot, Duroc, Hampshire, Berkshire. They're just a mutt. But yeah, they'll be ready too. So I think I said this a few podcasts ago. We probably shouldn't have bought these feeder pigs because it's looking like a whole bunch of pigs are going to be ready at the same time. And hey, when it rains, it pours, right?
You know what I think would be an awesome workshop if you did a feeder pig and an American guinea hog in the same workshop, so people can see the difference.
We have actually talked about doing that.
I've never heard of that before. Yeah, that's like, where else could you go and do that? You know what I mean?
That would be a
Like,
unique
hey,
class.
I want to get into raising pigs. Right, like I want to get into raising pigs. What kind of pig do I want to raise? Like, okay, go to Ben and Meg's class, and you can see side by side during butchering. This is the two difference. This one took 6 months. With the American guinea hogs, take 2 years.
Yep, 2 years.
And then you can be like, okay, this is the lard. This is what the marbling and the meat looks like, and this is what a feeder pig looks like. Like, what do you want?
And then taste test.
Yeah.
Right. Side by side taste test. See, I think what's funny is a lot of people they'd be hooked after doing something like that. You know, just like we were. You know, the first time you taste heritage meat like that, oh man, it's over. It's hard to go back.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting to see. Will you do the feeder pigs again, like taste wise, compared to like the American guinea hogs? Like, are you gonna like eat the feeder pig and be like, yeah, this is good, but this isn't American guinea hog good?
So we did feeder pigs in 21, and they were Hampshire Berkshires, and they were good. I mean, they tasted good, but they weren't American guinea hog or Mangalitsa, but they were pretty good. I think that was why we decided to do these 3 feeder pigs we got now. And honestly, like, something I've wanted to do since we've been doing pigs is I want to grind an entire pig and turn it into sausage. So having extra pigs, we can do that.
You got a good grinder?
We don't
you have
yet.
A good grinder, Ben?
We don't yet. We know what grinder we're gonna buy. We just haven't pulled the trigger on it.
Makes the world of difference. I know, like, we found that the first time we had hand-hewn pharma, we had a small one, and it was like hours worth of grinding. And then I'm like, the next class we do, I'm taking the money that we made from the first class, I'm investing it into a new grinder. And it's like, okay, this took me 20 minutes to grind what took me 3 hours to grind last time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna have four Kuni pigs all ready at once. At some point, I'll probably get some feeder pigs in between.
Have you had the meat from a Kuni versus an American guinea hog, Ben?
I haven't.
I haven't. I think that's the only pig I haven't tasted so far.
We have a lot of woods. I don't know what kind of breed to get to run in the woods. You know, because we do the regular breeders. Then they root a lot. Where the American guinea hogs, do they root as much as the Kunis? Like, as little, I should say.
Yeah, the American guinea hogs will uproot trees if you leave them in one spot too long in the woods. Actually, at the spot I've got them right now, I noticed that they ringed a tree, eating all the bark off of it. There's still green stuff to eat, so let's start killing trees for no reason, but maybe it means they need something. So, yeah, the guinea hogs can be destructive. Now, they aren't as destructive as the Mangalitsas were. Those mangas were, they killed every green thing they could get their teeth on. So, yeah, and the Kunis, seeing those things, they do graze. I was very shocked. Like, it's like having a cow pig.
It's so weird. It's so weird. Like, they are not pigs. I wonder. I just thought about this. What if you breed American guinea hog with a Kuni? What would you get?
I don't know. We've thought about it. It'd be interesting.
Like, breed them, and then like, because I would like my Kunis to root up a little bit. Like, they don't even root up a little bit. Like,
really,
not even a little bit. Like, they graze like sheep, like a cow. Like, they will just skim the top, but they will not root a single dirt. You won't see not a single dirt moved. But, you know, I kind of want them to a little bit. So, but They're fun though. They're easy. So easy. We'll see how
Now
they
they eat-
taste.
Right. Do they eat the shrubby stuff in the woods, or do they just want grass?
No, they'll eat that stuff. They'll eat like brambles, the bramble leaves, like blackberry leaves.
Yep.
They'll eat that. The grasses. They'll eat some certain weeds. Some weeds they don't really touch. But yeah, I mean they'll eat all that stuff.
Do they eat your food scraps?
Yeah, I was thinking if I had a milk cow, feed them that milk with some food scraps.
So the question is, when do you get the milk cow?
I know. Too much talking about milk cows. That's dangerous.
Right.
That's how it happens.
Ben shaking his head.
Stop.
I just got out of a milk cow.
What's Lorraine think of this about a milk cow? She ready for that commitment yet?
I don't know. She's kind of like me, I guess. Like, not sure. Like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if she's ready. I mean, she wants to. I think she wants to try it, but at the same time, like, well, what if we got to go somewhere? What if we want to go to the beach?
Right.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
You're a homesteader. You can't go to the beach.
I know. What do you mean the beach? Like, you can't do that stuff. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we're way over an hour. So, yeah, those are some just different ideas, I guess. We kind of got off topic there talking about pigs, but it's it's all a side hustle until
It's all
one of them
relative.
takes off and
Yep.
becomes the main thing. I think it's being aware of certain things. You have to be aware and have your peripheral vision on of what can I do to make money, right?
Right.
And it can be difficult, but
Search out a need.
yeah. Or
Search out a need in here.
what are people asking? What is your friends asking, or what are they asking of you? And maybe that is it. Maybe I should start doing more of that, whatever it is that they're asking. But yeah, guys, I think that's it.
It was a good conversation.
It was a good talk.
Yeah.
I enjoy this.
Yeah, guys, please subscribe to our YouTube podcast or subscribe to our iTunes, Spotify. We're on all those apps. So thank you guys for listening and watching, and hopefully everyone has an awesome week. We'll see you guys. Bye.